And welcome back. New developments from Baltimore, where the prosecutor has announced a grand jury has indicted 6 police officers in the death of Freddie Gray. Mr. Gray died last month of a fatal spinal injury while in police custody. Heather, what do these indictments mean?
Well, they're interesting because some of the charges have changed. She charged 3 of the police officers with false imprisonment. And what was really based on, was there probable cause to make this arrest? The indictments, only one of the officers was indicted, and it was on false arrest, which is a similar charge. That is a vital piece of this case, because if the arrest is legal, he cannot resist arrest. He doesn't have the right to do that. If it's illegal, his resisting the arrest is less of a problem. The resisting of the arrest may have been what caused his injuries. So this is what led to the whole problem. It's also, to me, the biggest problem I had with the charges. I think I said it here, that she is charging police officers for making a mistake on the job. And if you start doing that, you're going to find your police officers are less willing to make arrests because they may get arrested for false arrest.
So there's a difference between mistake, because I'm not a lawyer, mistake and intent. In other words, they didn't set out to injure Mr. Gray. Maybe they just didn't strap him in the way they should have.
No,
yeah, help me out here. I'm just a guy watching at home and I'm trying to absorb what you're saying.
Just the arrest part. Just the arrest part.
When you
start charging police off, there's different counts, and the things that you're talking about are manslaughter. Now there's some different ones, but manslaughter, all the things that cause.
So break it down
second-degree
in a very simple fashion.
But first, they had to arrest him, and when you charge a police officer, she charged 3. With false imprisonment, which is saying that the arrest was improper.
I understand.
You now set up a standard that police officers have to be concerned that if they are arresting people, they could be criminally charged if they're doing it mistakenly either by law or by fact. So when you see this surge in violence in Baltimore, to me there's a strong argument to be made that these police officers are like, wait a minute, I don't want to be arrested if I mistakenly arrest somebody.
Can the lawyer representing them ask if there's a precedent around this that they can just say, well, you can't arrest me for false imprisonment? There's very few.
It's not a precedent scenario. It's just what they're worried about, and I think Heather's probably right about this. If the state's attorney in Baltimore is going to go around charging cops with false imprisonment when they make an arrest, then if I'm a cop, I'm going to go, hey, if it turns out I mismeasured the knife, and it turns out that the knife was legal and I thought it was illegal, state's attorney's going to have me up on charges. I'm not going to touch the guy.
Do you think this is a political act on her part?
No.
More and more? No? You think she's just doing her job? Because I don't think Heather agrees with you.
No, I don't.
I know you don't, but yes. I mean, I can't tell you if the charges will stick. I don't know if these cops, or some of them or all of them, will be convicted. But clearly something very bad happened here.
I don't disagree with you at all on that.
There should be charges, and we'll see how the jury shakes it out.
I think the problem that people have with Marilyn Mosby was the speech that she made when the charges were announced, and I call it a speech because that's what it felt like. It wasn't just a list of 1, 2, 3, here's what's happening. It's I hear your justice, and we need peace, and the whole.
But that doesn't let the cops.
She called. Said, I hear your call for justice. But you respect the peace while I get you justice. I think there are 2 separate issues here. The spike in crime can't be attributed to the police. Criminals do crimes, and they have to be held accountable. The fall in arrests, I think, is an issue for the cops. It may be related to this, and it does have to be addressed. They got to be able to do their jobs.
Well, since Gray's death, Baltimore has seen a surge in violence, starting with those riots. Police say there have been 34 murders over the last month. Context is everything. That's a total of 100 homicides this year. Now, here's the context. That compares to 71 murders at this time last year. That's a 30% jump. Mayor Stephanie Rawlings Blake calls the numbers disheartening. She was sharply criticized last month for her comments that seemed to endorse the violence.
It's a very delicate balancing act, because while we tried to make sure that they were protected from the cars and the other things that were going on, we also gave those who wished to destroy space to do that as well. I never said, nor would I ever say, that we are giving people space to destroy our city. So my words should not be twisted.
So, Brad, does the mayor and city leadership in general deserve any sort of blame for the spike in violence?
Well, at the very least, it would be helpful if she would admit that she said what she said. Right? So, of course, there's some blame that's got to be apportioned there. But again, I think it's really important. You blame criminals for the crimes they commit. You blame the city for not having the willingness to enforce laws. And they're 2 separate issues. So again, prosecute criminals for doing crimes, and then get after the police, but make it appropriate for them to go after the criminals.
Heather.
The issues merge, though, when I think the criminals feel empowered. They feel empowered because they know that
I
the
got to
police...
disagree with you guys on this one. I really do. This is a heck of a leap you're making. People don't murder people going, you know, I think I'll murder someone today because the mayor said something that was pretty funky and the police aren't. No, that's not.
But
I
what
don't
if
know
the police
why
can't
it's
do their
going
jobs
up.
as effectively as they did before one hand tied behind
Well,
their
no,
back?
no, no. We're talking about arrest there. The police can still patrol. Unfortunately, cops are rarely around when people decide to kill people, and you can't blame them for that. But to suggest that they're sitting there and plotting murders because of a speech
So
that
you're
the mayor
saying
made is silly.
This is an arbitrary jump. That
I
has
don't know
nothing to do with
why it's
anything?
happening, but it ain't that.
I think
utterly
you're
disagree.
right that that's not why people plot murders, but if people believe that society is broken down and there is no justice except that which they created at
They
the
don't
butt of a
believe that
gun,
because of the mayor's
they're going to kill
speech.
each other.
They don't do that because of a mayor's speech. They didn't even
This will
hear
be
it.
going on for a while. More on this in a little bit. Heather's moving to Baltimore, by the way, to practice law. Don't go anywhere. More Daily Wrap in a moment.